Hello again, MMA True Believers. I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and my guest tonight is a man looking to exercise some octagon demons at UFC 250. On that night, who will return to the cage looking to end the first losing streak of his career and return to winning ways when he faces off with a grappling ace in Gerald Meerschaert. And that man is the Hurricane himself, Ian Heinisch. Ian, my man, thanks for the time tonight to talk this return back to the cage.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on.
Now, this is pretty much the same exact question I actually asked Ricky Simone after his win in Jacksonville earlier this week. Before 2019, you only had one loss in your career. That year, the year ended with the 2 straight losses, like I mentioned. For professional athletes, confidence is so important. After those losses, was your confidence shaken at all? Or is it more like what he told me? Your confidence wasn't shaken, but 3 straight losses, if you were to lose this upcoming fight, that is more of a concern. And that job security thing with the UFC, that gave him more greater concern. Is that the same for you?
Yeah, and actually I was talking to my manager, Jason House, about the same thing. You know, he's actually manages Ricky Simone as well. And I said, I'm going to do the same thing that Ricky Simone. You know, we both kind of had the same rise to the top super fast.
Yep.
And then we fought, he fought Uriah, I fought Brunson. We both lost and then had a close decision after that. And now he's back to his winning ways, and I plan on doing the same. And yeah, I mean, as far as confidence, you know, with my new coaches and stuff that I've had helping me out, they're really helping me build my confidence, the training partners, the training. It's just the fire's lit. And just like Ricky said, yeah, taking 3 losses in a row, that is job security. You know, that can be a scary place to be for sure. So I plan on not doing that and going out there and taking what's mine, especially coming off 2 such close losses where, you know, the decision could have went either way against tough guys. I've only fought ranked guys, basically top 20 guys my whole career in the UFC.
Talk to me, because we talked a little bit about it off air. Talk to me about like the changes you've made, because everybody's familiar with you being at Factory X. Like, you're not going to be there for this camp. Talk a little bit about that and you know, the switches and any differences and any changes it's made for you in the lead up to this fight.
I mean, yeah. So after my last loss, you know, I needed to mix things up. I was kind of getting settled in and, you know, bought a house, got married, and just kind of was not living who I am. I'm a nomad, man. I love to be just traveling, mixing things up. I love to kind of be in the chaos a little bit. And I took a trip out to Thailand just to try it out. And I just felt God calling me out there, and loved the coaches, the training partners, and obviously being near the beach. And I felt a lot better. My body felt so much better out there, you know? And so I was actually supposed to fight May 16th in San Diego. And I was doing my camp out there. I was about 2 weeks into my camp at Tiger Muay Thai, and the quarantine hit, the gym shut down. I ended up coming back to Denver because my wife was here still working, and we were planning on getting our house rented and going back there together after this fight. And it took me about 3 weeks, but I called up some friends, some training partners, and we got a good small group of guys. We got a few really good coaches to help us out. And I was able to take a fight against Gerald Meerschaert for June 6th, and feeling very confident. And it was just change I needed. And honestly, it was all meant to be. You know, I feel very confident. The training I've got is just been amazing, and I'm ready for this fight.
Talk to me about that, like what you said about Thailand, that your body felt better. That's interesting. Like, or you just felt better. Why did you feel better? Was there just a big difference in how they were doing the training out there to what American MMA training is? Like, what made the difference? Was it the beach? Because I'm sure the beach makes a big difference for a lot of people too.
You know, it's interesting, and that's a great question, because when I'm out there, like sometimes here when I'm training a lot, like even when I got back, my body hurts so bad. Like when I wake up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, like it hurts so bad. Wow. I feel like I'm more concussion prone. Like sometimes I get headaches here, dizzy here. I just don't know if the high elevation agrees with my body. Out there, it's always warm, and my body loves that warm weather. Yeah. You always walk into a practice already sweating. You sweat so much. You're constantly detoxifying your body. And, you know, over here, I lay on this mat that gives you low electronic frequencies, which the Earth naturally gives us. But because we're always on cement or we're wearing shoes. We don't get that. So I lay on this mat here, and then I go in a hyperbaric chamber here for about an hour, and then I feel good. And so basically I could just go to the beach and lay on the beach and on the ocean, and I could get the same exact thing naturally. So on my day off in Thailand, I can go to the beach and I can just totally be in nature all day, get that reset I need, come back to training feeling really good and rested and relaxed and ready to go.
I mean, and a lot of people would easily say, well, I mean, there's great gyms and warm places here in the U.S. Go to California. Go to Florida has a lot of great gyms. Why Thailand? Is it like just a culture thing, just being in a different kind of culture, different way of life, maybe a more relaxed way of life? Is it a big difference than American, warm weather places?
Yeah, I mean, I love America, man. I'm a huge patriot of this country. It's a great country, but honestly, I was doing a lot of other things, speaking at schools, speaking at programs, and I love to do that. I love to give back. But honestly, it's a hard road to become the best in the world at something, especially in MMA. And I felt like that was a little bit of a distraction. And now when I'm out there, I'm completely closed off from the world. It's all about fighting. My wife quit her job, and we're just totally focused in on fighting. And they literally have a fight street where it's 2 MMA gyms, 15 Muay Thai gyms, CrossFit gyms, healthy food restaurants, and massage. And you just live on the street. Everywhere you go to eat, there's always fights on. There's always fighters around talking about fighting. It's just fully focused on fighting. It's super cheap to live out there. The people are amazing, and the countryside is just the most gorgeous thing ever. So it really fit into where I wanted to be. And honestly, I just felt like God was calling me out there, me and my wife out there, and actually Nate Marquardt's moving out there as well.
I mean, and that key thing here you're mentioning is wife, because to go out there and make such a big change and everything like that, it's not going to happen without her permission or her being on board. Was that an easy sell? Like, was she feeling the same pull too, or?
Well, at first it was kind of, she's a country girl, and none of her family on either side has ever even left America or lived abroad, so it was a shocker for her. I would say at first she didn't really want to, leave her great job. She's a nurse, but she's there to support me, and she knows this is what I needed. And, so she's on board, and she's honestly, the more she gets used to it, the idea, she's actually loving it.
You talked to me after the Brunson fight, before the last fight, before the Amari fight, about how overwhelmed you were at the attention you got from fans at the hotel in general for that fight, the Amari fight. You are a guy that has drawn a lot of attention in the UFC because of your talent, your story, your background story. But success and the people that follow it can be fickle. After losing 2 in a row, did you see people that were once so supportive disappear? Did the love from the fans disappear a bit? And did it make you look at the industry differently when you hit that high level and have those low moments?
Yeah, no, it was a great learning experience for me, because obviously when you're on that roll, when you're on that win streak, everyone wants to be your friend, everyone wants to hang out with you, everyone's got an opinion on what you need to do next. And after those 2 losses, phone went silent, and a lot of people that weren't with me weren't around, and I kind of liked it. The silence let me reflect and kind of focus on my journey and who I am and why am I doing this. It helped me kind of find my why again. I love doing this, so there's no pressure because I love to do this, and I'm going to go out there and have fun. So yeah, I definitely felt the people disappear, but it was good for me because I seen who was really had my back and who really supported me, and it gave me some time to really self-reflect.
You have a really fun matchup with Gerald Meerschaert coming up. He's a double tough guy, willing to trade, very crafty on the ground, enough so that a credentialed wrestler like Deron Winn wanted nothing to do with this dude on the mat, despite having Gerald having a big reach advantage on him. You have a strong grappling background as well. You like to use it in your fights, but Gerald is certainly a guy that can be hit. Grappling seemingly would give him the best chance to win. Does this fight boil down to something like showing your striking and keeping on the feet much more to give you even a stronger chance of winning?
I'm gonna use all my skills in there. I feel like I could beat him anywhere. I have to be very patient with him because he's a guy who will endure a lot. Yeah. And he'll kind of wait for that 3rd round to come alive. So I just got to fight a really smart fight. I'm excited to show the new me. I really did a lot of self-reflection in this time. I've really tightened up a lot of my basics and went back to my basics, what got me here. And I'm excited to showcase all of that. My confidence is through the roof. My training has been so great. It's been such a tough, terrible, amazing camp, the kind where you just push through, but you're so glad that you made it through, and it just gives you that confidence that you're going to have a great fight. And so I'm going to use all my skills on him. But yeah, definitely, I feel I do have the advantage striking, but I don't feel too threatened. He's kind of a complacent jiu-jitsu guy, but he is very sneaky, and I need to be aware and be safe and smart.
And I'm glad you brought up the jiu-jitsu. That's where I was going to go next. And his grappling is kind of overlooked. He does have 23 submission wins and 31 wins. If it was easy to do, everyone would do it. So he's better than your average bear. He has a ton of choke finishes, though. Rear naked chokes, guillotines, and so on. When it comes to hitting the mat with him, do you pretty much need to follow the words of Wu-Tang Clan and protect your neck? Or is he really tricky everywhere and you got to be careful with everything?
I believe I really need to protect my neck. But the thing is, I've fought guys like Antonio Carlos Jr., who had, 7 rear naked choke wins in a row against guys in the UFC. He had my back for a full round. So, I prepared for guys like this before. I'm definitely going to protect my neck. And he's sneaky, man, but at the same time, when it's not a jiu-jitsu match, I'm going to be raining down big shots. And as you saw against someone like Jack Hermanson, who's raining big shots on him, that jiu-jitsu doesn't work as well. So, and like Thiago Santos as well. So, I just got to be smart and perform out there, and I believe the rest will take care of itself.
I'm glad you brought up Shoeface. Where do you rank? Like, do you feel Gerald is as dangerous as him on the ground? Do you feel like Shoeface is a little bit more of something to worry about? Where, comparing those two, they're similar but yet different. Where would you say in danger factor one compared to the other?
I kind of like you just said, they're similar, but they're different. They are very dangerous in their own way. And I feel like, with Gerald, we're going to have to watch for just quick snatch and grab chokes. He's sneaky. So I would say he's a little more sneaky than Shoeface. And but they're both super high level. And Shoeface is a world champ in jiu-jitsu, but Gerald's kind of like a world champ in the jiu-jitsu MMA world. Yeah. So it's a little different. So honestly, I just got to be smart out there. We've been training for this, and so I'm ready for whatever he's got.
You are a guy that has his back against the wall, like we've talked about with the possibility of losing a third fight and everything like that, but you've had your back against the wall like few others in the entire company have. You actually thought your life was on the line at one point in Rikers prison. Few fighters in the whole company know any situation like that, have ever dealt anything like that. A fight to end a loser streak can have a lot of pressure and add a little bit more to the level, because this is already a lot of pressure at this level anyway. But do you feel your past can come in really handy heading into this fight, that you don't feel an extra weight and extra tension because you've dealt with far worse than this?
Yeah. So, that's why I've been looking at it, because I felt like my second loss, I did bring a lot of pressure. Like, hey, you can't lose 2 in a row. Like, you got to keep this going. And losing 1 was all right because, he's a top 10 guy. But losing 2 in a row, you can't do that. But now I feel like you said, I'm at the point where my back's against the wall, and I've been here before, and now I'm taking that pressure off of me. And just, like you said, I've been in way more high pressure situations. Yes. I just kind of have to put this whole situation in God's hand, and I just know he knows the outcome already. And I'm going to do everything I can control, possibly win. And then I'm just going to go out there and perform and have fun. And the rest is going to take care of itself. So that's kind of where I put it. And I kind of brought this old motto up that, I used to use earlier in my career, because I felt like early in my career, it was like, if you don't win, you're going back to prison. And when I say that to myself, something in my gut really stirs up, and it gives me that extra energy. So I'm going to use that mentality if I need it in this fight. If there's a point where I need to just pull energy out of somewhere else, kind of remind myself, hey, either you're going to win this or you're going to go back to prison. So I know that's not a reality now, and obviously I wouldn't, but at the same time, it still brings up these feelings in my gut that, that have just stayed with me.
The pandemic has, is something we are all still dealing with, or will keep dealing with for a while. I spoke with Carl Roberson. He had an aunt that passed away from the virus. Bibiano Fernandez, from one, he had a friend in Brazil that died from it. We've heard about Conor McGregor's on. We all know what's going on with Khabib Nurmagomedov's father right now. He's in a coma. Have you had any friends or relatives directly touched by this whole virus thing, or have you lucked out and you haven't had anything like that bad?
Yeah, no, I've lucked out. I don't really even know anyone that has it. So, I've lucked out, I guess, and pray for all those families that are affected by it. But, hopefully, we can all get this herd immunity and get back on track.
Now, last question. Since we're talking about the pandemic, since we're talking about things, are you ready to have a gigantic Q-tip stuck up your nose and touch your brain?
Well, I've been putting a lot of things up my nose my whole life, so I'm hoping it's still a little numb up there. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to scratch my brain a little. And my wife's kind of telling me, like, don't fight it. Like, open your nostrils, sniff in when they do it. Just let it go, because if you fight it, it's going to hurt a lot more.